This recording is about cell organelles, which are a very important part of the cell, and you need to pay attention to individual parts. Eukaryotic cells are what we're going to talk about, and remember those are the more detailed cells like humans and animals, plants and animals. Eukaryotic cells contain organelles with specific functions such as mitochondria, chloroplasts, Golgi bodies, and lysosomes. Okay, this picture shows the cell and the Golgi body, starting at the top, the cell membrane on the outside edge, vacuoles here, the big green circle. Nuclear membrane is around the nucleus. Nuclear, just get that. The Golgi bodies here look like this ribbon all folded up. The mitochondria here look kind of like jelly beans cut in half. Lysosomes here in the middle. Ribosomes, these little blue dots, and notice the little blue dots are also on the endoplasmic reticulum. The nucleus here in the middle of the cell, inside the nuclear membrane, and the endoplasmic reticulum is this, looks like ribbon up here that has ribosomes attached. Organelles means little organs. Basically, this means that organelles have specific roles to play in how cells work, just like organs help the whole body to function as a whole. Organelles carry out many of the metabolic tasks important to living things. They play different roles in not only breaking down food, but also generating energy, building new molecules, and producing more cells. Only eukaryotic cells contain organelles. A prokaryotic cell does not have membrane-bound organelles or a nucleus. Eukaryotic cells contain a nucleus where DNA resides in the nucleus of a cell and it duplicates itself there. So that's a very important thing, is where the DNA lives. And a region of the nucleus called the nucleolus is where ribosome synthesis begins. Ribosomes play an important part in protein synthesis. Without ribosomes, you wouldn't be able to synthesize proteins, which are very important. Nucleus is generally larger than any organelle. The mitochondrion is the organelle that generates usable energy from glucose. You'll also see it called mitochondria. Depending on how much energy a cell needs, it will have different numbers of mitochondria. Muscle cells, for example, are stuffed with mitochondria because muscle cells need lots of energy. A mitochondria make usable energy from glucose. The site of cellular or aerobic respiration, the process that converts energy in glucose into ATP, a form of usable energy. The matrix of each mitochondrion contains some of the enzymes needed in cellular respiration. So each mitochondria has some of the enzymes, and they work together. Mitochondria have an inner membrane and an outer membrane. The inner membrane consists of many folds, which give the membrane a substantial surface area. It kind of like a folded up ribbon that's squeezed together and folded up tight. Proteins embed in the inner membrane and help in the production of ATP, and the larger surface area of the membrane increases the space available for ATP synthesis. So it's proteins and the creation of ATP are the very important job of mitochondria. Ribosomes, are the sites of where the protein is synthesized. They're called the cell's workbenches because it's where all the work is done to make the protein. Some ribosomes float in the cell's cytoplasm, but most are located on the rough endoplasmic reticulum, ER, which is another organelle we're going to talk about in a minute. The rough endoplasmic reticulum. And that looks like a hard word, doesn't it? But it's really not that tough. The rough endoplasmic reticulum is the site of most protein synthesis. In eukaryotic cells, most ribosomes are located on the rough ER, a series of interconnected flattened sacs, tubes, and channels within the cell. So looks very complex, but it's not. In the look, it sounds complex, but just don't think about it. You'll see the pictures, it'll look like a ribbon, kind of zigzagging back. Proteins made on ribosomes on the rough ER are packaged inside protective compartments called vesicles. The vesicles protect the proteins when they leave the cell to travel to other parts of the body. The smooth endoplasmic reticulum is a series of membranes that contain enzymes that can alter the structure of molecules such as drugs and pesticides. Toxins such as pesticides are changed into less harmful substances on the smooth endoplasmic reticulum. The Golgi bodies. The Golgi body lies in close proximity to both the ER and the cell membrane. It receives products of the ER, which are mostly proteins, sorts their contents, modifies them, and distributes them throughout the cell. Some cells have many Golgi bodies, and it's kind of like the post office or the mail center. Golgi bodies package many kinds of special materials for the cell. The lysosomes are filled with enzymes that break down many materials. They contain many types of digestive enzymes that break down large organic molecules such as proteins, fats, nucleic acids, and carbohydrates. They break down other organelles in the cell, returning the raw materials, nucleic acids, lipids, and carbohydrates to the cell's interior. Doing so enables the cell to reassemble new organelles in a process of constant renewal. So there where everything is, where the workbench, kind of. They play an important role in the immune system. Cells called macrophages, for example, engulf bacteria and digest them with enzymes contained in lysosomes. And you can see here's a picture of a lysosome. It's filled with enzymes. You see all the stuff inside, and which breaks down the materials. If a white blood cell surrounds a bacteria that's going to cause you to be sick, then lysosomes provide the enzymes which take care of killing that bacteria or getting rid of it, digesting it. Okay, the difference in plants and animal cells is plant cells contain some organelles not found in animal cells. Photosynthesis takes place in organelles called chloroplasts. Chloroplast, chlorophyll. Okay, chloroplasts contain the green pigment chlorophyll, which captures light energy for the process of photosynthesis. And because humans don't do photosynthesis, we don't have chloroplasts. Plant cells also contain a large central compartment called the central vacuole. The central vacuole stores water, ions, and wastes. When it's full, it pushes against the cell membrane and the cell wall and makes the plant rigid. Finally, plant cells are surrounded by a rigid cell wall, another structure not found in animal cells, which helps give shape and support to the plant. The cell wall helps it, to have some shape, because as humans and animals have bones to give it support, plants don't. So they need that rigid support. And this all came from the K-12 curriculum.